Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the CEO of Hemlane. How you doing, Dana?
I'm great. Thanks again for having me.
You at Hemlane collect such amazing wealth of information. There's a question, I don't know why it didn't come to me earlier that I've never asked, but I'm going to ask because I think it's going to benefit thousands of people. You ready?
Yeah,
There are a lot of rental websites, right? Some of them free, some of them paid.
hundreds.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hundreds of them, yeah. I just got to ask you. You see all this stuff. You have automatic integrations. You see the clicks. You could count them. I just got to ask, what are the top 3 or 4 sites that actually get traffic, and maybe even better than traffic, good traffic? What
Yeah.
what, what are the good ones?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, I actually want to back up and talk a little bit about traffic. This constantly changes. So, I would say 10 years ago, Pad Mapper was super hot, if you
I
remember.
never even heard of that one.
Yeah, that it was very popular in the Bay Area. Today, you basically don't see any leads from it. It constantly changes based on SEO, search engine optimization.
Okay.
And it also can change based on your location. So you could be in San Francisco and the tenants and the demographic could be a lot different than what you would see in Boise, Idaho, or Round Rock, Texas. And so that's another important thing to note. However, it's really interesting when we advertise rental listing websites. When we go out to the market and talk to landlords, they tell us, I want my listing everywhere. I want to make sure that every tenant sees my listing. So that's what we do. We
Sure.
advertise it to 30 rental listing websites where basically 100% of the tenants are. Everything is a rounding error. However, to your point, there's only some that actually really move the needle. And you can basically, from the top 7 listing websites, and we pulled this data for the past 3 months, so rolling basis of the past 3 months, there are 7 websites across the nation. So this is data across the nation that will give you 99% of tenant inquiries.
Oh,
so
wow.
come and look at your property. And what is fascinating about today is one of those websites is completely different than you ever thought. And I want to talk about that acquisition.
Okay.
And so we'll get into that.
All right.
So first of all, I want you to guess, what is number 1?
Again, this is national data.
Yes. Actually,
Um,
let me actually give one caveat with that. This is
okay.
actually a super important one.
Mm.
Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist are the only ones that don't allow syndication. Only 2 that are a part of those. So Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace are the only ones not part of this analysis.
Got it. That's fair.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to go Zillow just because that's the one that popped in my head.
That's correct. Zillow
Yes.
is 43% of tenant inquiries.
Now, if I had to guess, Zillow would not have been number 1 2 years ago.
So I think 2 years ago as a group it was. So
Okay.
Zillow, Trulia, and HotPads, it's all owned by the same company.
Yes.
And
yes.
Trulia, if you combine Trulia with Zillow, it was still
That's cheating.
number 1. But now what we actually see is Trulia is no longer part of the
Top 7? Oh,
it's not part of the top 7. It's in there, but let me actually give you the exact number. I have it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's number 13.
Dude, out of the top 10, Trulia. Not a good look. Not a good look.
So it's out of there. And I think what's happening is they're consolidating everything into Zillow Rental Manager.
Yeah, so, well, that's also going to lead to reducing their teams, and there's some layoffs coming in that area, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Okay, so the second one is really going to surprise you. And I'm going to put it together. It's one company. I'll give you a hint. It's one company that recently acquired, it was on the buy-sell side. It recently acquired a rental like syndicator, which had a couple of different companies in it. And it is shocking how quickly it's grown over the past 3 months.
No idea.
All right. So no one's ever heard of the name. It's called rent.com. And it owns Live Lovely, the Rent Path Network, Apartments Guide, all of those. But here's the important thing of why it's gone into position number 2. It is Redfin.
Of course.
Redfin never had listings. Don't forget.
I remember. Yeah, that's very recent. Yeah.
Rental listings. But you know what Redfin has is a really good SEO team.
Oh yeah, they do. Yes.
And so they've acquired. And so now what's really interesting is it goes through their syndicator on Lovely, but all of those listings together is number 2. So that is the second highest with 26%
Wow.
of inquiries through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Shout out to that team doing work. I mean, when what I've seen over the years, right? Again, both you and I are in the Bay Area. When you have a good SEO team, it'll move the needle.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So good for them.
Yeah, so those are the 2, and that.
All right, give me the bronze medal. We got the gold, we got the silver. Who's the bronze?
Bronzesapartments.com.
That's why I would have guessed this.
Yes. So CoStar Group owns that. So that, again,
cool.
Another really massive team. And then everything else is kind of a rounding error.
Yeah, we don't count fourth place. There's only 3 spots on the medal round, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have Apartment List, you have Realtor.com, you have Zumper, you have Homes.com. But really, then it just becomes slowly a rounding error. With it. And in the top 7, you can literally get 99% of tenant inquiries. And
so here's a question for you. And again, you may not have the data, but if you may, I have no idea. So that's where the traffic comes from, right? Yeah. And I think when I say traffic, that means, hey, I want an extra piece of information about your vacant unit. I mean, it doesn't mean an application. It could, but it doesn't mean. So that's traffic. Do you have the data to go back and tie actually approved tenants to the traffic? Like, is there a shocking outcome? Like, again, number 1 has the most traffic, but number 2 gets the yes answers. I mean, do you have that?
Yeah, good question. The only data I do remember, because I don't have it in front of me, but our data team has it. So we do the online applications, but actually the more important thing is tenants that are accepted.
Yes, exactly.
Then it's like almost not only who filled out an application, but which listing website has the most qualified tenants.
Yeah, exactly.
Zillow, interestingly enough, Zillow was still number 1.
Yeah, you would think so. They had like 43% or something. So
yeah, exactly. They still have the most number of applicants and tenants accepted. That'd be a good one for our next week to talk.
Yeah, because I wonder if the ratio is different. Because again, they may be numerically the highest just because they dominate at 43%. But if you take the comparison, right, they might be 31% of approved tenants, but the second place, gets close. I mean, it'd be a fun look. Yeah.
I'll pull that data. That's a really good one.
Yes, next week.
But we can do it next week. Definitely.
There you go. So the other thing that I just want people to realize, again, mom and pop landlords, is you, again, right? Your online application, your trial that you give away, they can put it in one place and then you spit it out to 30 different spots.
Yeah. So all of the ones we've spoken about, we listed on, and that's how we can get this data to know like which companies are actually moving the needle. And again, it fluctuates over time. But overall, it's like, hey, across the nation, even if your property's in Boise versus, Round Rock or Georgetown, it's still those top 7 websites that really generate all that traffic.
Yeah. And the reason I think this is important for mom and pop landlords, I think what we're going to see heading into the next 6 months is the housing slowdown, which I've been calling for. It's happening right now. But I think people need to hear me as rentals are going to be slowing down as well. It's going to be a rough 6 months. And you're going to want to get your listing in front of the most people. You want to get the most applicants. You want to get the most qualified applicants. But that's one thing you need to do. I strongly suggest, if you are in this course and you haven't taken the trial yet, you have to take the gift that Hemline is giving you. And then if you're in the course, I mean, Dana went ahead and did video series for you on how to do the POC. So, and if you're in the free course, she's giving you the PDF. So what's better than a free trial to, pretend to be a landlord and skill up a little bit, right, Dana?
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. And especially the listings, because you get kind of competitive of like, how many leads am I going to get, making sure tenants inquire. So,
yeah. Very cool, Dana. Where can people find the POC or the POC, proof of concept trial? Sorry.
Trial. Yeah, you can go to hemlane.com, which is HEMLANE.com. Click try 1 month free, and just make sure that you mention that you came through one rental at a time, because you do get 20% off your first year should you decide to also use our management services.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana.
Great. Thanks so much.